Candid, welcome in. Ronnie Hastings, welcome in the house, man. How you doing? Big news. I just joined the Beehive Network on TikTok. Big numbers. I've really been climbing lately. I thought, it's the right next move for me. And, I've been doing this for 5 years, and I'm finally starting to kind of see some of the numbers. And I couldn't be happier. Candid, yes, what's up? How you doing? Thank you for the bees. So I'm going to continue to climb. I'm going to continue to create new shows. And this show, for the next hour, I'm going to be doing Then What? So this is going to be a scenario-based show where I generate a scenario, and then you guys get to pop up and kind of help create the stage, So that's what we're going to go for. Let's see here. I'm trying to figure out how I want to do this layout. Let's do grid. Let's do fixed. Max number of spots. Let's do 2 spots. Okay. So, what's going to happen on Then What is I'm going to present a scenario up here. And then you guys can come up in the boxes and help me build the stage. If people request up, then I will kick people off and give other people the opportunity to kind of grow the story. And we're really just going to have fun with it. So first off, without giving away the scene, I need someone to request up. Someone that is curious about how this is going to go. And I think that's going to add a little bit of an aspect to it. So I'm pretty excited, actually. But because we just went live, it might take a few minutes. Phlegetheric, welcome in. How you doing? Candid, you're awesome. Ronnie Hastings, how's it going, man? I see you around on here a little bit. Appreciate you tuning in. Might move this up a little bit. Let's move that up a little bit higher. I'm trying to do the thing where it's not the full green screen. It's kind of nice, actually. All right. So, thank you for the like. All right. So, Candid is going to be the first guest.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I am fantastic. First off, thank you for being the very first guest on our show, Then What? Being a part of a new network, the show that most of the people just go live and talk. I like the kind of game show concept-ish. Is that what you guys are involved? So I came up with Then What? And this is going to be the first show we do. Are you ready for the first subject?
We'll see.
All right. So, good morning. The sky's missing.
What?
I'm going to start the clock at 3 minutes. So we woke up, all right? Everybody in the world woke up on Earth, and they step outside and the sky's gone. It's just gone. There's no clouds. There's no sun. There's nothing. There's nothing in the sky. Just emptiness. What are you going to do? What's your first reaction going to be?
Call NASA.
I feel like they'd probably have to rename themselves.
Yeah, no kidding.
What would your reaction be if you stepped outside and the sky was gone? You knew it was day outside. Let's say it was just void. There was nothing. It was just blank. What would your first reaction be to that? I feel like a lot of things are going to be flipped. And I was picking through a few things, and I really liked this because I don't think it's something that anybody ever thinks about.
Whoa. What, it's gonna be like just pitch blackness all the time?
Well, I don't know, because if you knew it was day out, so let's say like during the day it was white and during the night it was black, so that still happened, but there was just nothing else. I love how all you do is look up. That's funny.
I wouldn't know what else to do. NASA.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much. I think calling NASA would be the worst decision you could make because they're going to be scrambling to figure out a cover-up.
That's true, probably.
Would you change your routine? Let's say you had a schedule planned for the day. Are you going to continue with your schedule, or are you going to
just stare at the sky.
No, there's no sky though. You're not staring at anything. It's gone.
I'd probably try to find the highest point in my area and hike up to the top and look at it some more.
The lack of it. All right, okay. All right. You got about 25 seconds left. I'd like to see if somebody else is interested in popping up here. If not, well, I'm going to continue talking to Candied until I get another request up here. So first off, I think that would be a pretty common reaction. However, I think that there's a lot more to go into here. We can really dive into this topic, like what's going to happen to the world.
Well, I mean, if only the sky is gone and not like anything else, then we would just, what would it be?
That's what I'm saying is are you going to continue your day-to-day life?
Well,
Or do you think everything would go chaotic?
I don't know, because it would depend on, like, would the sun be gone too?
Everything's gone.
Everything?
Gone. Anything that's up there that you see is just gone. It's void. There's nothing there other than it's white during the day and black at night.
I would probably go on about my day just like casually staring up occasionally, just be like, well, that's depressing.
That's fair. That's fair. Tim, thank you for tuning in. Ronnie, would you like to come up? You know, always request up. You don't have to show your video, but if you want to discuss the topic and maybe what you would do, I'm curious. The whole idea of this show is to continue building on the story and seeing kind of what aspects would change between each individual. Katie, I actually think that your reaction would probably be a majority of the populations, but I think there's a lot more depth to it, you know, and I think there's a lot that we could talk about. Like, think about history. Everything would change because everything that you know, everything about the universe that you would now know never existed to begin with because it's just gone.
Yeah.
Right? Grace, welcome in.
I don't
But so if that happened and you knew, okay, well, what the fuck? It's just not there anymore. So in other words, you'd probably understand that we're in some sort of simulation.
Yeah.
Because the sky's just gone, right? Thank you for all the likes, Grace. I appreciate it. We are discussing if you woke up and the sky was just gone, you know, what would you do? I am asking people to request up to pop in and discuss the topic right now. I got Candied on. I appreciate you, Candied. What do you think of the scenario, though? Do you think that is something that if it was to happen, it would affect your life personally?
Yes. I would be so sad if that were to happen because
how would it affect your day-to-day life?
it would just like cut out something that I enjoy so much.
Right, country boy, welcome in. Yeah, I mean, it's the sky. I mean, think about how much the history has built on the fact of around the sky and the universe.
Yeah.
It would, if anything, it would prove that we live on a plane of existence that just is unknown. Like we won't. Are we real? Do we even exist?
Send some people into existential crises.
Agreed. I agree. Lucas keeps popping in. I appreciate you, Lucas. You know, the government, I feel like the government would be kind of at a halt. I think that, you know, a lot of things would create like a chaotic environment for us. And it's kind of scary to think about. Like, you know, there's all these like conspiracies about the sun being fake, and if the universe in general just was a made up thing, I think religion, politics, and the world as we know it would completely either it would collapse before it would re kind of develop, if that makes sense. You muted your mic, so I can't hear you talking.
I just said, yeah, you're right. Like, it would change everything.
Uh-huh. I might actually change this to like a four panel. Let's do this. We're gonna do a fixed panel with four. That way other people can come up and discuss it. Hey, welcome in everybody. This is the new show, Then What, on JG's Lounge. I became part of a network. I might kind of throw that out there a few times. And what I do is totally different than what most other people do. So I want to continue doing that with this, like not necessarily game shows, but more show style lives. And I want to do that with you people. And tonight, Candida was my first guest. If anybody wants to discuss this topic in more detail, request that. You don't have to show your camera like Candida is up here, which I appreciate. Thank you so much. But come on, let's discuss it. What do you guys? What would affect your day-to-day lives? Thank you, Candida. As far as if you woke up and the sky was just missing. Candy basically said that she'd be confused as hell, but she'd just keep going.
That'd be so sad.
What part? Okay, so what is it about the sky that you'd miss the most?
The sunshine, the rainbows, the clouds, the real clouds, not the chemtrail.
Those chemtrails. Think about the conspiracy theorists that would come out and be like, "We were right. We were right. I told you."
It was all a projection.
Every aspect of the government would crumble. Every aspect of it. Because wouldn't it be cold because of the missing sun? Well, here's the thing, Phlegothetic. First off, I appreciate you being in here, but you should request up, my friend. You don't have to show your face. If there was still light, like let's say it was white during the day and black at night, and that's how it was, right? Electricity and everything still worked, but the sky was just gone. I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, I think that it wouldn't matter where on the planet you existed. I think that the temperature would probably eventually just be neutral, right? Red Riding Hood, welcome in. We're discussing if the sky was missing, what would you do? And what you got?
Sorry. No, keep continuing.
No, go ahead.
I don't want to interrupt you.
No, you're good. We're gonna bring Red Riding up.
Well, like, what if, so if the sky went missing, like the sun was gone, all of that, and, they made us believe that heat came from the sun, but then we would be, like, in some sort of simulation, I guess, where,
It
like,
would prove that we were in a simulation.
yeah, it would, but, like, what if it was, like, a heated dome, not really a sun?
Okay. I mean, it's possible. I don't know. Red Riding Hood, I'd like to welcome you in. Thank you.
Thanks. Let me know when you have a little minute because I have something to add.
I'm giving you the stage right now. We are discussing if you woke up and the sky was just missing.
So I have actually seen that scenario in real life, in real time, when Paradise, California caught on fire. I was, as the crow flies, let's just say 100 miles to the west. I'm sorry. Yes, to the west. And it was a regular, bright, sunny day. It was before noon. And I was outside, and this wall of black came, and it turned day to night instantly. I've been around a lot of different fires,
Right.
and this was the only time I have ever seen day turn to night because there was so much fuel from that fire that it literally blocked out the sun. And in blocking out the sun, it changed the temperature, it made it very cold. It was just literally like a normal day where you didn't need a sweater or anything. And
Right.
it changed day to night. All of the night, like street lights and everything came on. It was just pitch black. It was the strangest thing ever. So the sky went away completely. And as I was standing there, it struck me that this is really how like the ice age began, because
Right.
the sun um was not in existence at
Right.
that time. And then I had a
But
reason
the
about
problem,
5 days later to
the
go
only
directly. Go ahead.
the only problem that I have with this scenario is that you know what caused it, right? So based off of
Right,
what we know here, and actually I want you to finish, but then I would like to kind of redirect based on more of like a void of rather than something that
right,
blocked it out, if that makes sense.
right. Well, the weird thing is, it became like a black piece of paper. So it did become literally a void. I mean, it wasn't, you couldn't see there, it wasn't a cloud. It was just like this uh, darkness. It was like somebody took a black piece of paper and just put it down. And you could see the wall coming. The wall was coming, and I've been in sandstorms and some other things, but this wall of blackness just came and enveloped everything. And then in about 5 days later, I had a reason to go over to the base of the fire itself. So I was probably 4 miles away from where the head of the fire was.
Right.
And those fires tend to have like debris and things that fly around. And so it did have the usual debris. There were large chunks of things flying on my car. And but it was freezing there, freezing cold.
Right.
And so I've been around it before. I've never experienced that. And it was really interesting because fire does create its own weather. It will create what they call firestorms and different things like that, and little like mini tornadoes inside the fire.
Right.
But I've never seen anything like that. And I think that as humans in our existence on this planet, that we really don't have knowledge of if something like that grew larger to where we couldn't control it. And most of the time, we can barely control what happens when these big
Right.
ones happen like this.
Well, think of
Um,
the effect it would have on everything. I mean, so
oh
just
yeah.
what based off what you said, but you see that the difference between the story that you're telling, which actually did happen, and it was very traumatic. I didn't even experience it, but I saw it on the news. Um, I think I'm more thinking of if the sky just was gone, like not because it was blanketed, but because you just woke up and you look outside and it's just there was a void of existence. You know, it's the day, like it's white out. So let's say during the day it's white, at night it's black. That would reconstruct everything you know, right? I mean, how would that affect you? Not in the sense
Oh,
of
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, you're not wrong. I was around one of the issues for about 40 days straight, and it was to where you could not see 250 feet across.
right,
That was like the total distance. So it was, and is, I mean, there are times when I've actually closed my office um window curtain because I didn't want to see it anymore. I couldn't handle it. Like, it does mess with your mind. It does, because it does just disappear.
yeah, and I mean the universe, everything that you've been taught in school, everything that the government told you, NASA, like all of those things are now just out the window. You now know that they've lied. Like the idea that we're not in a simulation is out. Like it's proven that we are just based on the fact that the sky's gone. Welcome in, Elm.
Yeah, I think there's so much that happens around us in so many different scenarios and ways. I mean, I don't, it's not man-made, or well, it, some of it may be man-made by accident, but it's not man-managed. I don't think we're evolved enough to
What would be
manage.
what would be your first reaction to waking up and just acknowledging that it was missing? Like not even the fact that it was blocked out, just that it didn't exist.
The sky?
Well, what would you see? Like, would you see stars
It
or
would
would
be
you
it
see
would be
nothing?
it would be void. It would be just a blank.
Yeah.
Let's say you know it was day. Let's say it's white out during the day and just black at night. That's it.
Hmm.
but
But
everything else
you
is just
but you
absent.
do see that because all that you do really see is the permutation of like the water molecules that are
Yes.
reflective of the light. And that's why
Yes.
it seems
So,
like
so,
it's
so I'm not arguing what you're saying. This is more of a hypothetical scenario. Like if you woke up and it just was absent and not existing, like how would it affect you, and what would the next steps be? Yeah.
unless like were you still getting the nutrients from the energy of the different planets like was there carbon and
So
like would you
let's
do
say
you know what I
all of
mean?
that
That
was
stuff.
still. Well, let's say all of that still existed, but
Okay.
there was no planets and no universe. It was gone.
So you're still getting carbon,
Yep.
vitamin D, like all that stuff.
Mhm.
Everything's still happening, but you're kind of like
Right.
in a black hole.
Yeah, like what you're explaining is based off the fact that the universe and the planets that do exist are
Yes.
actually affecting it. But
Yes.
if we woke up and that just was proven to not be real, it just
Okay,
didn't
and
exist.
so everybody is around and everybody's here, and so you're like, what would be the first thing you would do? Well, I happened to be down in the Bay Area when they had that huge earthquake in 1989, and I didn't know what to do. It was really crazy, and everybody was kind of like losing their minds. But I'm going to tell you right now, all of the people from other countries were going to the store and buying water. They were carrying cases of water on their heads, cases of canned goods on their heads. There were no white people doing that. None of us. Nobody. They weren't. And it was a shock to me because I was like, it was a big education. So the first thing I would do, I would 100% make sure that I had a food source to get me through at least a time until you could figure out and decide like if you're going to join a group of people to be able to survive through it, if
Right.
you're not going to survive through it, make that conscious decision. I mean that really is basically the end of times.
Well,
No
yes.
sunlight.
Well, and it's what you just said is very accurate. You need to prepare for chaos because no matter what, the government and everything that you've learned has been affected by the fact that it's clearly not true. Whatever everything they've been telling us is just not true. It's gone. Religion, I mean, it would all be just proven false if it just no longer existed.
But there are people that do prepare for those scenarios that are in more rural communities. And I would have to say the other thing they say is to go as rural as possible, you know, get out
Yeah.
of any city. And that's actually what I did during that earthquake. I actually left the area. I went as far east as fast as I could to get out of that area. And then I went north
Right.
because I knew and I could see that there was no control. And if something had happened on a greater scale, um, being by myself, I'm not a very big person, I would not be safe.
What about for you, Om? What would you do? What was the if you stepped outside after you woke up and the very first thing you noticed was that the sky was just gone? What would be the first thing that you did? That's directed to you, Om.
Yeah, I walked away for a minute. I was
No, you're
listening.
good.
I was trying to multitask.
You're
Um,
good.
hey, by the way, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. My name's Jukebox Ginger, also Dylan, but I like Jukebox Ginger, so just call me JG or Jukebox or Juke. I don't care. Hey,
Juke. All right, I can call you Juke.
love
Jukes.
it.
I like to pluralize things. So Jukes.
Yes.
I woke up in the morning and I went outside and it looked like how it looks right now. It's just like this really cool blue. There's no clouds, anything like that, but
No,
it's
no, no,
always
no,
going to
no,
be
no.
like that.
It's no, it's gone. It's just black. What's
Yeah,
up? What's up?
that's what it looks like right now.
No, no, no. There wouldn't be stars. There would be no clouds.
No, there aren't. No, that's what I'm saying. Like
Yes, but
there
the stars
yeah,
and everything are gone. The
bro,
universe is
I'm telling
gone.
you, like I would tell you right now, because we have so much fog in Chicago, there's nothing out there.
Okay, so
Yeah, I got you.
there's lack of all of that. Lack of
Forever.
anything. It's just gone.
Forever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're asking me what would I do?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
The show is called Then What? What? What's the next thing you're doing?
I mean, do I have like Okay. Well, I have a couple questions
This is
before I.
hypothetical, so you get
Oh,
wherever you want.
okay. Great. Do da da dee dee. So, does my phone work?
Everything's the same. There's just no.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna reach out to a couple people that I know that are kind of on the same page. I don't have Red's number, but I'm pretty sure we probably have this one
Um,
too. And I'd be like, all right, yeah, I do have some emergency stuff that whatever, do dots. And then I would go to where I know I'm going to go. So I already have a thing. I already have a thing. I'm not gonna like share it on fucking with on TikTok, but yeah, I mean, but I also believe that when you look at what's happening with the cloud seeding and all the other stuff that's happening with the um, BG foundations and mosquitoes and all the other jazz. I mean, I got into a huge argument with ChatGPT, and I found out that guess what? I'm right because you can't sit there and say that you have a mega nonprofit and then realize that they're actually getting money from to fund something and something and something and something. So, I mean, dude, if we had a whole different platform to this, I would be telling you everything.
yeah, no,
But
I
I
try.
can't.
I
But
try
I
to.
would say this:
So
if
my
I look
biggest thing.
outside my house and if I see that the sky is black, I know that I have a lot of gorgeous individuals that I would genuinely care about, that we had a space and it wouldn't be a Mad Max moment because
It might not
none
be
of
for
the
you. It might not be for you, but I think the problem is that I think we would have to prepare for that kind of scenario.
there it wouldn't happen. That's what I'm trying to say. It
You
wouldn't
don't. You
happen.
don't think that.
They would not be winning in this space. To go and rip resources that way, to go in cloud seed, to go and create a cloud over the sun as the BG Foundation is attempting to do so
The
that
problem
things
is
can't
okay.
grow.
First off, I really appreciate where you're going. The problem
Sorry,
is,
I don't want to
it's just
be.
I try to be. I'm trying to be as like hypothetical as possible,
Yeah, I
and
don't even
like
know what you're talking about.
you're relating it to reality, and
Oh yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. It's just taking the show not the direction I want it to go. Does that make sense?
I really like that one game Paperboy when I was growing up on Nintendo.
I remember like Mario, like the 2D Mario
Yeah,
game.
2D Paperboy. It was like you would run into like a cat, like, and you're just like in the paper, and you throw the paper,
Right.
right? So there's gonna be a lot of papers to be tossed. What would I do? I would wake up in the morning and know that I am intelligent enough that I have my own resources.
I definitely think that that's the biggest thing with today's society is that they don't prepare for things, and I
Why do you
mean that
think that they do that?
because
Hypothetically speaking.
they were mentally trained to be that way, not to prepare.
Yeah.
And that's the problem is that it would they would need direction. So if people don't prepare for something, then they're going to need direction. So if this happened and nobody had any idea what to do, which at least 70% of the population, I believe, would not know what to do. They're going to turn towards conspiracy theorists,
Mhm.
cults, anything that's not, government or religion that they've been raised to believe in that
Yeah.
was proven false. They're
It
going to
just
go
happened.
towards the opposite. They're going to flip the script and go polar opposite.
Okay,
There
so
was
do you want to hear hypothetically then what people would do in a crisis situation with no knowledge of what to do with the crisis happening around them,
I would
potentially?
like, I would love for you to talk next, Red. After I give, well, welcome in the Chad. How you doing?
How you doing, brother? Thanks for having me up.
Good, of course. Thank you for requesting up. I'm gonna let Red Riding talk for a minute, and then I would like to hear your opinion on this scenario. Okay?
Okay, very good.
So hypothetically, people would be given instruction on a large, let's just say, stadium to go to. So the people show up to the stadium, and then of course, I think your average like citizen doesn't realize that the government sometimes is making it up as they go along, and they make promises oftentimes in crisis situations that they can't keep. So having your own ideals and your own preparedness, in my humble opinion, is the best because I actually watched it. I watched a stadium full of people be promised by Senate and Assembly that they'll take care of them and they could stay there as long as they could. And I knew full well that was not the truth,
Well, there's
nor
been
was it the
there's
case.
been there's been many disasters where where governments failed. But again, I don't want to be too real about the scenario here. I want to keep it as hypothetical as possible, based off of experiences. Red. I'm not like trying to.
No, it's totally cool, but I'm like, hypothetically, that's what they do to people. Even
Yes,
they like
yes.
shove
No,
you in an area.
I agree. I'm not arguing that. I want to actually let's give Chad the opportunity. Chad, you woke up. Good morning. The sky's gone.
The sky is gone. Holy shit.
You look up and it's a void. It's just nothing there.
It's, people would lose their mind. I feel like people would be running around in circles, running down the street, looking at the sky, or where the sky should be, right? If it was missing.
Yep. And I think it's funny because Candide said she'd find the highest place near her and climb and keep looking.
Me, I would be looking at everybody like, I would be thinking, but okay, it's gone. Well, what are you, okay, you're running around and losing your mind, like your head got chopped off. What's the next choice to do? What are we going to do?
What's the next step? What do we do? So here's the thing. Let's say collectively we all went out there, we all agreed it's just gone. You know, like what's the next step, guys? Like what do we do once everybody agrees we're not all crazy? It's not there. What's the next step? Do we listen to the government? Do we tune into the TV? Do we tune into the radio? Or do you think about yourself and where you're going? Like what's the next step?
My thought, I wouldn't listen. I wouldn't listen to the TV at all. I don't anyways. But I would definitely decide, you know what, everything that science and all the media has ever told me about anything is out the window. I don't need to hear anything from them now. Because obviously we are still here alive and the sky is gone. Space doesn't exist anymore. It's not a reality. It's not part of our reality.
Which everything, religion and politics and everything, the NASA, like everything we've all talked about the reach and getting to the furthest we can be and challenging each other to get to the first. Please talk. And Tony, it's just hypothetical, man. It didn't turn into anything. It just disappeared. What you got,
Are we, this hypothetical situation, are we all on the same team? We're all waking up and out of the same cave and we're like, what are we going to do? Or are we all on separate spaces?
We can collectively agree or we can disagree.
I'm just saying, are we like, so if we're all on a team, right? Like,
yes,
so if
we're
okay,
all on
like,
the
let's
same
do that.
page.
It's so much easier because this is like the make-believe story that we're not supposed to be do-da-do-do. So
There
then
could be a team A and a team B if you want.
We can do whatever you want.
I'm just saying, like,
We all
so,
have
like,
to agree, Chad.
because the way that it started was just kind of like we all woke up separately. So if we're saying like, okay, so we're all buddies and we're having this conversation, we woke up and we're like, okay, what are we gonna do? Like, this is what I would do. I would say, hey, I know that I'm good at this, and then I would say Red, and then Candide, and you and Chad. Everyone would come up to the thing. Okay, this is what we could do. This is what I prepped for. Like, whatever. This is how I could prep. We'll do it really quick. Like, whatever. We would just create a whole new little micro society and allow it to grow eventually. That's what I would do.
Well, what I imagine with this scenario, this hypothesis, is waking up in the morning. The sun is not rising. You go out, you look up, and there's nothing there.
Yeah.
No sky, no cloud, no sun, no moon, no stars. Just void. Nothing.
Just nothing. Yep.
What do you
What do you got? Red, you keep trying to pop in, and so does Candide. I want to give you the opportunity to speak. And if people
Candide, go ahead first.
Candide, go ahead. Tony, nothing has changed besides this guy missing. Everything else is still what it is. but the sky is gone. There's nothing up there.
The birds are still,
Katie, what you got? You walked
airplanes
off.
still flying by. Everything still works the same.
Well, so here's the other thing. So let's say
We'd
for-
have to still be able to breathe, or we wouldn't even be able to have a
Right.
meeting at the mines, Potato.
we would not be we would
What
not
are
be
you up
collectively
to?
discussing the
Come
next
on,
step
no,
here.
no.
So Red, go ahead and talk because I think Candy might have stepped away. So go ahead.
Well, I mean, if we were in the same space, I would first ask, do you want to survive through this? I mean, that's really the first question, and that's one of the first things they like determine with like as a human, do you actually want to survive through this? Because realistically, if there's no sun, there's not going to be any food, and it's going to be cold.
Right.
It's going to be very cold.
What you
Right.
just brought in first off, what Ohm said about kind of grouping up and finding the strengths within the people. Yes, 100%. Red, I also agree. We know not everybody's going to know this. Believe me, I know people who can't change a trash can. Most people aren't going to know how to prepare, right? So I think that's the first thing as you group is what are your strengths, and we need to start getting things like we need to collect. Like that's the next step.
Right, that's true. I mean, basically, I mean, obviously, first aid kits, canned foods, water exists in most every house, whether it's out of a hot water heater or, ice out of freezers, and then a way to figure out how to move whatever the goods are and how to keep that moving as far as you possibly can. Are you going to stay in a city? For me, that would not at all be a choice.
Yep.
That would be my worst nightmare to have to do that.
Well, and that's here. So here's a point.
You guys,
that I
we
think
still know how to make fire. Don't forget.
Yes, but here's the thing: how long is that going to last? Because the trees and all of that, it is going to eventually be gone. So we're going to run out.
Yeah, but
There's no way-
oxygen will still exist. Just because the sun doesn't exist doesn't mean anything. It just means that
Yes, but
the
don't
car.
plants-
Yeah,
does
but
it
there.
nature need that?
Technically, but
Then we would go to the desert where they don't need that majority of the time because they're always emitting oxygen and they don't need as much because they do dormancies, and so we would do all that. And plus they have so much liquid that's in the cacti. Like there's, come on guys,
Yeah,
Pe-
I like
people-
that.
101 biology.
They would panic. I mean, look at what happened with C19. Or was it before C19? We ran out of toilet paper. Well, what happened with the stores on the shelves with toilet paper?
I
I
work
don't
at
understand why everyone decided that was the most
You had
necessary.
to wait.
thing.
I bought 3 bidets. I'm just throwing it out there. Candy, what you got? You want to say something?
did you really?
Yeah, I never used them, but I got them in case we ran out of toilet paper. They're sitting in my garage.
I was gonna say, well, if literally the only thing that changed was the fact that the sky was gone, just complete blankness, then would the Earth still work the same? Like, if the
So over time, well, I don't know, because if that's the case, then we're in a simulation.
yeah, and then they lied to us about everything. Like, what if we don't actually need the sun? What if it's all like something else?
That's a different perspective.
So if everything worked the same, then the only thing that we would actually need to do is just like colonize. Not colonize, but like commune. Start.
Basically what Ohm was saying.
Yeah.
But even if you weren't able to see the fact that there was a sun, it doesn't mean that the energy from the sun wasn't there. It means that it was blocked, but the energetic force was still there. So there are still things that are happening because you can get a sunburn in the shade.
Yeah, you're right. I guess, yeah. I didn't even think about that.
If your hypotheses, did you like how I gave that an extra syllabus?
I do. I was noticing that.
Hypothesis.
You're
Is
thinking,
this the
you're thinking so
hypothesis?
fast your mouth
If
can't
your
keep up.
hypothesis made it a little different, And if it's still like, so the sun was still there and it was just blocked, well, you can get sunburn from
Gone.
that. But if it was still there, there's still a magnetic force because you still have the moon. Because the moon is the magnet that gets the
We're
tides
talking about
going,
what we
and
see in the
and
sky,
if the
though.
water
Everybody can see
wouldn't go away, and that's H2O, which is hydrogen, and that the friction
But
and the
it would
kinetic
mean
energy
it would
from
mean
that is
it
carbon,
would.
which would create carbon. So everybody's fine. Everybody's fine. It's just you can't get a
Yes.
suntan. That's it.
Okay.
Done.
So being a ginger, thank you. That'd be fantastic. But no. So here's the thing.
Yeah,
It
you would be
okay.
the first culprit because everyone's gonna want your DNA because you have a higher
right.
tolerance than everybody else.
So here's the thing, though. So you guys put in a good point, though, because if just the universe, if just the sky was gone, but everything else still existed, that means literally everything we know and have been learned or taught was fake. That means that where it all came from, where it all was produced, where it all was like regenerated, all of that was a lie. Every bit of it.
Yeah, I don't agree. I think that little teeny thing called the Ice Age would be back. Matter of fact, it would be back for sure.
But if it's a simulation and the sun is just a projection and the clouds, it's all a projection, and then it disappeared, then the Earth would work the same.
And I love that for you
Yes.
in your Sky is Missing story, but in my Sky is Missing story, it would probably be more like trying to find people that are like-minded like me that have knowledge and the will to survive and skills and ideals to put forward and
So
different
what you're saying,
generations.
so what you're
Fred, that
saying is
had to be really scary
Katie
when
would
that
be looking at
happened.
the sky while everybody
Sorry
else
you
was
went through
actually
that,
trying to
babe.
survive.
Yeah, there'll be a few different groups of people. Some losing their mind that the sky is gone. There are some that are like, we need to figure out what to do. And there's
Right.
also going to be a group of people that are just like, you know what? I still need to go to work, and they will still go
Right.
to work.
They'll
not
be
gonna
so
give a shit.
confused. They'll just go to their jobs. That's what happened
Well,
when COVID happened.
That's
When
just not
COVID
coming for
happened,
me. It's gonna be like we're gonna be like, ooh, 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 ooh. Like, and I'll be like, I got it, and I'm just gonna start the shit. Like, you know what I mean? We're gonna like, and it's gonna go down like 4,000
I
feet.
think. Okay, so let's say, what do you think would happen with the government? Let's say the first few days.
Not concerned. Don't care. Wouldn't matter to me at that time.
No, they are going to have somebody out there in front of a screen spewing
We're
out
not that
the
important.
most garbage crap.
We're not that important.
It would be. You think they would just shut? You think they would just?
Assuming they would be there. They would be there doing that, but there would be different factions of survival groups working on that. There would definitely be people going to work that were trying to do like as directed, whatever, mandated workers, whatever. And then a lot of people don't realize during COVID, they actually had the highest amount of workman comp claims filed ever.
Yeah. All the insurance companies like just fucked. Yeah.
There's definitely going to be somebody that needs to figure out a way for us to keep track of time.
Right.
Well, that's a sundial. Oh,
Well,
but then
there's
it
no
isn't.
sun. There's no
So
sky.
then there's the
No,
magnet.
there is
So
no
no,
sun.
then you would have the magnet you'd have the magnetism from the moon.
Rotary, come up. This is definitely up your alley, my
This
friend.
is right up
Oh,
his alley.
I
That's
like
why
that kid.
it's-
He's
Yeah.
so cool. I like that motherfucker. He's nice. I like him.
Hey, Chad, I do want to say thank you. I've never seen you on any of my stuff, so I appreciate you popping on.
Well, I appreciate you having me up.
Everything that I do on here is redistributed on YouTube and all audio platforms. So
Oh, good to know
I think it's
now.
a great conversation.
Shit.
I think this should be a conversation that is had more often. Having seen and worked and lived through a lot of the large fires in Northern California, I've really learned a lot. So has our government. Cal Fire's learned a lot. They've learned a lot about fighting fire and that kind of thing.
yes. And I want to say, so I had an experience where I went down in a mine shaft in Idaho, and we went a mile underground, and
Mhm.
and they shut the lights off. It was pitch black.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it wasn't just dark; it felt like an entity. So I feel
Mhm.
like if the absence of the sky existed, I would almost feel like I was being viewed. Just everything I was doing was being viewed.
So
And
I've
that's
been
because of the
out in the
experience
woods
I've
where
had.
it is pitch black, but I think that, since you've experienced that and you knew that you could live through that, I think you would have a better chance of surviving through. I think that people that have not experienced something like that and have always lived on with the experience of creature comforts. Like when I drive through San Francisco, I look around and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, most of these people really have no idea that, everything they have is at their fingertips. But what if it's not?
Right. What you got, Ohm? Candied? Chad? What you got?
I feel like so I wasn't gonna go on the TikTok today. This is my third live. I had a beautiful
Gotcha.
time on the live today. This is gonna be my last one. I wanted to sing, but like whatever, fuck it. So the
Welcome in,
first live
everybody.
the first live had to deal with like people that ended up passing forward on their own accord. Then the second live that I went on, there was a woman that happened to be on that other live, and she lost her shit because she was really pissed off about the fact that she was hyperly focused about like what God and Christianity believes in, and I think that that's cool that she has conviction. I just don't think that it's anyone's space to judge anybody about when they're like in their darkest moments and they feel like that's their answer. Like, don't be a dickhead. Like, you don't know what they're going through. So, like, that's my headspace. And so she ended
Right.
up being a little bit of
So,
a good nuts. And so then, I went up here because I'm friends with Red. And so then I came up here. And so I feel like, if we wanted to really like go into the alliteration of something, there's a lot of people based off of how the day started. So full circle of when people feel like, the world isn't that, right? I don't know what the fuck you're supposed to say in TikTok. That the world
yeah.
is dudettes and like what are you gonna do? Like how are you gonna handle that? And like does it feel like the walls are flipping in? And like how do you
Well,
handle that? And who do you want in your space? Go ahead,
well, and
sorry,
the
but like
idea of what I'm doing with this show, and you pointed on that a lot, is I want these scenarios to be hypothetical but potentially realistic, right? So obviously this most likely won't happen, but in case it did, I'm curious to see where everybody's minds is in the scenario,
so
and so I appreciate you coming on.
thanks, man. So thanks for letting me up. So I would just say this. So I could look at this storyline in a space of man versus himself.
Right.
Someone was going through and they felt like there was no more sun. What do? Do they just not wake up? Or do they still try to seek the sun? Do they still try to find someone that knows where the sun's at? Do they try to find somebody that can help them still try to find the sun? Like, I don't know. Right, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's how I would look at it. But that's how today started when I went on the TikTok live. And then I
Yeah.
got shit from this hyper Christian person. I was like, girl, not today. And Red
John, what's
knows
up,
this
man?
about me. So I get a little pissed sometimes with that. But the point is like, you have your team, y'all know your job, whatever. And if somebody on your team, if you know that they're whatever, you just be there for them. And whatever their choices are, remember Red had said she left, but like she had said, well, do they want to wake
Yeah,
up?
it
Do
would
they
be it would
want
separate.
do they
Well,
want to
like
do
Chad
that?
said,
And if they
Chad
don't
said
want to
there'd be
do that, oh
multiple.
yeah, he said it. Sorry, Chad. And if they want to, then sure. And if they don't, listen, be respectful. They don't.
I want to give Jaw the opportunity to talk for
Sorry.
just a
Yeah,
moment.
that's it. That's
No,
all
you're
I just
fine.
wanted it. Okay, that was it.
Thank
So
you.
that was my.
Jaw, welcome on. How you doing, buddy?
Good. Thanks for having me. I just want to let everybody know that Jesus loves you.
So hold on. Based on that, if this situation happened, we're talking hypothetical, would that affect your belief? I know your answer, but I want to know your answer.
Would the sky being missing
Just void. It just the universe. The universe as you know it is just void.
and
We're still
what
here.
belief?
Everything else is here, and everything's still going on, but the sky is just gone.
And you asked if it would affect my belief. What belief would this be affecting or not affecting?
Well, you said that Jesus loves you, so obviously you believe in something.
I would think
Um,
that he still loves you. Yes.
yes. Okay. But would that affect your views on your belief, knowing that this was gone, or no?
Um, absolutely not. Not even a little bit.
And first off, I 100% respect your commitment to your belief. What would be your first thought or decision to make in a scenario like this?
I would just find a way to just keep going, just like every other day. Dude, every morning I wake up, the sky's missing, bro, or something just as equal to that is messed up in my life, and I'd find a way to just
Perspective.
keep trotting. Like, what can I do? I'm gonna just exist until I
So,
don't anymore.
hold on.
Wait,
Are you gonna look?
who was the little kid that was saying stuff? Whose
Oh,
house is that?
the little kid that was saying stuff?
Yeah.
Don't you
Uh,
don't have to show them. I love little Bibu Buddhas.
say hi,
Ja,
Max.
you know. Oh, hi, Jodine. I can't do it.
Hello.
I
Hello.
think you're the coolest in the whole world, and I love you, and I love you, and I love you.
He loves
What are
saying
you
hi to my
playing?
TikTok friends.
Are you playing with the?
Hello.
What do you got? You have one of those little with the ring on the thing, on the ring on the swordfish face. Remember that game? That looks like that's what you're playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
Okay.
right. Well, thanks, Chat. I know I love you,
Thank
sweetheart. I love
you
you
so
so
much.
much. But that was so cool. I love little kids. Sorry. Bye.
Okay,
Woo,
so
sorry.
Chad, you haven't talked in a minute. What you got? If you're still there,
There's a
Chad.
bunch of noise going on over here. But
Because we're
yes,
gonna wrap up in here in about 5 minutes, so I kind of want to get everybody's like final thoughts on this topic.
I think that people would there would be a bunch of people just losing their mind, not knowing what to do.
Right.
But in my mind, if I were experiencing it, I'd be like, oh shit, the sky is gone,
Yeah.
but I'm still alive.
Right.
Everything that science has taught us has gone out the window.
Right. Especially if everything else was still as it is. Right. So like, if you noticed the sky was gone, but you breathed, and you're like, oh no, oxygen's still there. Simple things like that that you acknowledge would just be like, oh, there's so many things wrong with this.
Yes, it's like, well, hold on a second.
Yes.
The atmosphere was supposed to exist. It's not there anymore, obviously, and we're still alive.
Yep. Candy, what you got? What's your final thoughts on this?
Like I said, before, I think my reaction would all depend on everything else that would happen with the sky going missing. So, like I said before, if it was
Something happened.
if it was like a doomsday scenario where like literally it was gone and like everything else was actually affected by it and it wasn't like an all simulation lie where it was all a projection, then that's all it depends on my reaction.
What you got, Ohm? What's your final thoughts on this scenario?
I believe in divine. I believe in the Akashics, and I believe that when we pass forward and then when we come back down, I believe in the Akashic aspect behind it. So, I believe you're here, and should this take place while that's happening, while you're physically fucking here, and your soul's there, and deets, and your ancestors are like, "Yep, that's the one that's gonna go down there that day. This is the one."
Right.
I believe that you know what to do. And so then I guess I wouldn't necessarily say anything besides give some potentially unsolicited advice because you didn't ask for advice. You asked me what I would do. I would give advice and say, I would say, you keep doing and being exactly who you are, and it's going to be okay because energy. No, that's you pass forward. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay.
Joe, what do you think, man? I know you weren't in here very long, but at the end of the day, everybody realizes this guy's missing. What would you collectively want to communicate to the world?
The same thing I do every day, anyways, bro.
Mhm.
Same old thing. Peace, love, and happiness.
I think community would be huge.
This
I
type
think
of
that
this type of thing is really hard for me to do because it's actually impossible for this guy to be missing.
that's
Because
why it's called hypothetical, Joe.
yeah, so it's hard for me to play games like this because
Well, that's why JG's Lounge is
is there
different
supposed
than
to
you.
be a meteor
You're
shower
wonderful.
tonight? Do you guys know?
I don't know. Anybody know the answer to that?
Like if you're
There's a
like
meteor
trying to
shower
like,
every night. What are
yeah,
you talking about?
Oh,
left,
thank you,
right, left,
Chad.
right, uppercut, uppercut, side, 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 yeah,
Answer this
jab,
question.
jab, jab, left hook, yeah, got you.
I actually don't know, Ja. I'm not sure.
Thank you, JG.
He's just saying that everything always falls. So like, just live your
So
life
my
and
biggest-
grab your shit.
My biggest thing would be to protect yourself and obviously help those who will benefit you. And I know that that's selfish to say, but in a scenario like this, I think that the outcome in the long run is totally going to flip. And I think that this would change the game that is life. Do you keep going about your day-to-day life? I don't know. I don't know the answer because this isn't going to ever happen. But if it did,
But that would be
change-
like
change
just
this
being
Stevie Ray
scared
Vaughan
all the
predicted
time,
it.
like knowing that you're gonna pass, like, and then you just don't live. Like, that that's not right. Who cares? Like, you can't not live. You have, dude. First of all, I've never met you in my entire fucking life, and you seem so fucking. First of all, you seem intense, and I don't know if I would like you in high school. But I do believe that I most likely would have liked you as an adult because at that point you were kind of like, all right, I could see, and you started compartmentalizing people of like where they fell as opposed to being annoyed with people in general.
That happened to me when I was like 21 and realized that the life
that's
I
what
was
I'm trying to right. That's okay. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So like you can look at all these people and you can look at everybody and there's so many cool things about people that don't sit on the same space that you do, but they're cool as
hold on.
fuck.
Well, keep it short. Keep it short. First off, thank you. I appreciate the compliment. I don't know that I would like you in high school either, but you seem pretty chill now, so thank you.
You wouldn't have. It's okay. We're all good.
So the way that you have been taking the show tonight, and I want to point this out, has been totally to where I have to redirect it. Not that I don't appreciate it, but it kind of gives me an idea of who you are as a person, not in a bad way, but just knowing where you kind of went with this topic, if that makes sense. And Chad, first off, thank you. And I'm actually getting ready to do a improv show here in about 15, 20 minutes. It's totally different than this, but you're welcome to be a part of it.
Kip, one last thing I just want to say, and just to you, is that we've all gone through like super shitty stuff in our life, and it's whatever we want to go through and however we want to be there for each other, and like, oh my god, whatever, like fucking grab a violin, fucking make it out of sawdust and play it, fuck off. But what I will say is that when we sit here and we think about like what you said, I believe that those moments are literally just in our head. Because I could tell you when the sun didn't.
Violin up there.
Yeah, and I can tell you when the sun wasn't shining and it really sucked. But then it's just like, you know what, it's shining and it really sucked. But then it's just like, you know what I did?
Well, here's the thing.
Smile.
So I think.
But you're doing it. But you're doing
us,
it
I
by
feel
doing
like
your fucking improv shit, man. Sorry. Okay. Apologize.
No, you know what? I love to talk to people, and I love to talk about different things, and I appreciate people like all of you who come on here. And the thing is, I guarantee you, everyone that's on the panel right now probably didn't agree with what everybody was saying, and that's fine. That is
Yes.
100% okay, and that's what I want.
Yes, sir.
So as the network continues to grow and will, I just want to thank all of you for being here and giving me your perspective and your voice, and that's gonna continue to grow. So, Om and Chad, I didn't know who you were before the show. Thank you for being here. I followed both of you.
Wait, Bubba Gates, are you going to go tell a comedy? Are you going to go do comedy
Yes.
right
So
now?
I do a show called Courtroom Chaos. It is a improv show where the audience gets to pick the scenario and they get to be the jury.
Where are you at? You're not in Chicago. You sound like you're
Nope.
up north.
I'm in
You're up
Kansas City.
north.
I'm in Kansas City.
Oh, you're over there.
I'm over there.
All right,
Yeah.
hang on a second. Travis
Anyway,
is like gay and like whatever.
Give me
Oh,
a
sorry, I'm
follow.
supposed to say that.
I want to give. Okay, so Candied Flower, thank
Wait,
you. Job,
wait.
thank you.
Can I give you a really shitty? Oh, I'm probably not supposed to say that.
I would rather not because I'm really short on time and I need to do my other show here in about 15
Wait,
minutes.
can you
So I
can
wanna-
you have someone videotape it? Can you do it live? Can we listen to it?
Dude,
I would love
just
to support you. I will
disconnect, bro.
totally post it on my. I've got like, I don't know, like
I-
10,000
I-
people on my
I
stuff.
redistribute clips and I redistribute on Spotify and YouTube and all of their platforms. So yes.
Okay, you follow me, and I'm gonna give you
Sounds good.
one of the stupidest jokes in the entire universe, and I think you're gonna think it's funny.
Okay, we're gonna end the show with that. Go ahead.
No, you want me to say it now?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Why
Unless
does
you're
the
gonna
why does the Avon lady walk funny?
They what?
Why does the Avon lady walk funny?
Why?
Because her lipstick. I don't know. Good luck with your show.
I'm gonna have a show.
I think it's funny.
I'm gonna have a show where I just face palm everything.
I mean, look at it turn around. Look at the turn.
All right, hey. Chad, I want to say thank you for coming up. And please feel free to hang out here in
Yes,
about
thank
15
you for
minutes
having
when we
me.
go live again.
Thank you for having me.
You
I'll-
have
I'll
to show
definitely- I
us.
sent
You have
follow.
to show us where your shit
Hold on,
is
hey.
at. Sorry.
Okay, hold on. Thank you, Om. I appreciate the love. Chad, what you got?
I sent you a follow. I was just saying I sent you a follow. So,
Thank you.
Is it the improv show is on live or is this?
It'll be live, same like this, in about 15 minutes.
On the
Okay.
thingy.
I'll swing
On
by.
here.
All right, Chad. Are we
A lot of
watching
fun.
it?
So thank you guys.
I haven't
And
spoken to
yes,
Chad
you
in
guys
a
can be
little bit of time.
Candy, thank you so much for coming on tonight. And it takes about a day or two for me to redistribute, but this show will be on Spotify and Apple and everywhere else.
All right,
So
so
thank you.
Baguettes, so you're gonna go get ready.
Yes. I need my 15-minute break. I need my 15-minute break.
Yeah, you gotta go peeps. You gotta poop. I always had
All
to
right.
poop before I sing on
All right,
stage.
everybody,